Hello, everybody. Are we live? Are we on? Welcome to Sabado Nights. Let me just check who's here. Hello, everybody. Shout out naman kayo dyan, oh. Let us know where you're listening. I think we are live in a couple of things. YouTube, in Facebook, and in Kumu, I think. So we're adding our platforms. So it's good. Kamusta po kayo? How long? How have you guys been? It's been 2 weeks. Our last guest was Pastor Willie Chua. Disclaimer: he's actually our ninong. But what an amazing testimony! It was from the beginning of his life to even until now. You can see the adventure in his life, and really, that's why we're doing this. Why are we doing Sabado nights? We want to present you with people from different spheres. Okay, we have uh, many different guests from different areas: finance, BPO, theater, business. All these different people. Tonight we're gonna have a wonderful time as well. But we'll just wait for more people to come in. Okay, I can see some people already here from Paranaque. There you go. Uh, who else is here? Madami ng messages eh. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. There you go. We've had some wonderful conversations in Sabado nights, and our heart really is to just chat with people and discover their journeys, the struggles they've uh, they went through, the victories, and where they're headed, their dreams, their passions. Um, Later on, we will open it up, or maybe even during the conversation, if something comes up, you can simply write down your questions here. If you have some comments, you can write it down as well. This evening, it's gonna be good. We have tonight. Okay, I have to read what he wrote. Okay, this is how he wants me to introduce him. Okay, if you've seen our ad, you'd know it's Pastor Kokoy. Okay, we call him Kokoy. That's how I know him. He's architect Roscoe Kokoy Leva. Okay, a passionate designer slash architect, a loving husband, a father of two, a true and loyal friend, and it says here, an imperfect believer of Christ. I'd like to say instead, a believer being perfected by Christ. In other words, a work in progress. Lahat po tayo yun. But without further ado, I'd like to bring in Architect Kokoy. Architect, join me here. Hello.
Hello.
Good.
Happy to be
Yes,
here.
so glad you.
Top of the
Thank
night.
you so
Yeah,
much for saying yes. Okay? And
of course.
yeah, we were just thinking, sino pa kaya pwede nating imbitahan? We have some people lined up, but it seemed good to bring you in just to let other people know that I've known Architect Kokoy for a few years now, working on a church project. So far, it's been delayed and been pushed back, and some things needed to be revised. One project here and then another project there. But we're not giving up, right? We're going to continue because our heart really is to build the kingdom, and we're so glad that you're part of the journey. So I'll give you an opportunity, Architect, to just say hi to people and say whatever you have in your heart to say.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Pastor, for
Sure.
giving me this opportunity to join you. I'm actually excited more than anything. And I'd like to also take this opportunity to honor you guys, you and Pastora Mitch, for doing this. I watch you guys almost every day, almost every week, and the energy, the effort that you guys put into keeping people together. I mean, it's really tough during this pandemic,
Yeah.
and what you guys are doing is phenomenal. I mean, we need more of you. We need more people who put people together, remind them that there is hope. Most especially for all of us. This is
Yes.
worldwide. That's the only thing I can really tell you now. I really like to honor you guys more than thank you for the opportunity.
It's always been enjoyable, when we get together because it goes beyond the project that we talk about, and really like that because ibig sabihin the relationship is not limited to, you know, the temporary project that we have, and I believe it's gonna continue in other things. That's why we invited you here. Um, as you know, we talk about life journeys, people's ups and downs, and how God brought them through all these things. And by the way, as you can see, we're doing this live, and we're doing it at home. So you might hear some stuff: dog barking outside, cars, tricycles, motorcycles. So I'm trying to close everything, but I can still hear some ambient noise. But that's okay.
Yeah,
Um, this is what we do. Welcome home.
this is
So,
life as we
yes,
know it.
this is life. You mentioned a while ago, we were talking backstage, that yeah, 2020 has been quite a challenge, diba? And how are you navigating 2020, architect?
Actually, same as everyone. It's been tough. It started out actually. It started out really okay, and then all of a sudden this happened. But I'm just being hopeful. Hopeful in prayer. I just actually want to send people a lot of hope, good vibes. I mean, when you open social media, it's a lot of negative. So there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
negativity there, and you gotta hold on to, I think, your story in your testimony. Actually, you just have to hold on to it, your faith, because
Yeah,
nowadays it's really tough to just be hopeful and look to the positive. No pun intended.
yeah,
But business
it's true.
wise, I mean, it's picking up. It's picking up. I've been getting, um, through God's grace, I've been getting some projects, small ones. And the good thing about it is I get to spend more time with my kids, with my wife, with family and friends actually. I
Yeah,
haven't ha- I haven't hung out with my friends and family this much. I mean, at least through webinars or just
true.
FaceTime or even Viber. So it's been good. I've just tried to look at the positive side of things.
True. I think it's important to be more focused on the blessings. I mean, the challenges are there, but I think what really keeps us going is the hope that we have. Yung sabi mga kanina. But before we talk about current events, hopefully we have time to talk about these things. As we're talking about journey, architect. Before you were an architect, okay, before you decided this is gonna be your course in life, this is gonna be your passion, right? Um, Tell us. Let's go back, many moons ago. How was childhood, right? Formative years, right? What do you remember in your early years? Have you always been drawn towards buildings and drawings and all of that? What influenced you as a child to go in this direction?
Actually, you know what, Pastor? I've always wanted to be an architect. That's
Oh
the
wow!
that's the funny thing about it. I don't know if I can say funny, but actually, yeah. Looking back, I had a really really good childhood. I had fun. My folks gave us what we needed. I mean, we didn't have what we wanted, everything that we wanted, but we were fine. They put us to a good school. I went to San Agustin. Shout out to my friends from CSA. But even when I was a kid, I would really love to build. I would use when Lego wasn't famous famous yet, or we didn't have Lego here in the Philippines, I would actually use cardboard. The folder, the yellow
Yeah, yeah,
folder
okay.
that we use for school, I would cut up those folders and build stuff, build planes, build whatever I think of. I mean, we didn't. The youth right now are actually lucky that they have social media, but
Mm-hmm.
then you really had to entertain yourself. I mean, during summer, I'd build, I'd do stuff. I'd get cartons, glue, tape, name it, construction paper, art paper, and then I'd love to paint it. I'd love to paint them.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
mind getting dirty. Even my siblings, I'm sure some of them are watching, know this about me. I just love building. I think this was really my calling. I really love being an architect. That's in fact, I think it was you who told me that you can't fake passion. I mean, I think this is my passion. Being an architect, building, a builder.
Wow. So, how old were you when you decided or when you were thinking, you know what, I'm gonna be an architect? I'm sure you don't remember. I don't know. Maybe you do, but the
Actually, I
time
do.
and the
I
exact.
do.
Oh, really?
Vividly do. I was about 5. Yeah, I was about 5 or 7. 5 to 7 years old. It was actually my lolo who gave me the idea. Because my lolo was an architect. He
Okay.
he was a top notcher back then for both. There were like two groups of architects then. So he was a top notcher in both exams. And then I would see him every Sunday. We'd visit him with my folks and with my other siblings in their house in QC. And then I'd see him checking checking the test papers of his students. And I'd ask him. I'd watch him. And then I would see him use the T square, that big
Yes, yes,
ruler with the
yes.
big end. And I'd see him draw. And every Sunday, I would just look at him in amazement, and I guess I just followed suit. I was drawing. He would actually give me stuff to draw. So
Okay.
I guess he was my biggest influence, being an architect, and I'm the only one actually in our family.
Wow. So, can you imagine that? I'm just talking to people. Many of us, because I going back 5 years old, 7 years old, but I didn't know what I wanted. Actually, I wanted to be 10 different things at the same time. Between being an astronaut, a doctor, a scientist, a priest, or whatever. All of these things combined. But it's very interesting. Maybe I'd say rare that uh, and you're the example of it. At such a young age, you already know, I want to be this, and you actually, you know, pursued it, and now you're living it, you're walking it. Because at that age, diba, we imagine many different things, right? And in the end, when you get to like a teenager, and you have all these influences, and you're realizing certain things, nagbabago yung direction. But it's good to hear somebody at a young age, 5, possibly even 5 years old, to say, I want to be this. Do you think it's in people to have, because you obviously understand the way you journeyed, but what do you say about people who maybe at that age, I don't know if they're watching now, but maybe in their, say, 10, 12, 13 years old, and they have no idea what they want. And we also have people who are in their 40s, or maybe even later than that, who still don't know what they want to be or to become. What do you say about these things?
Actually, I just did during my birthday. What I did was I did a webinar. So it's more of just giving back to the
Mm-hmm.
profession. And one of the guests or one of the people who joined it also asked me the same thing. How did I
Oh,
find out that I wanted to be an architect? And then, so I told her the same thing I mentioned earlier that I think when I was a kid, I really wanted to be one. I wanted to build. Um, I may not know the word architect yet, but I just really wanted to build. So, to answer your question, I think it's you should know yourself. First things first is know yourself. Know what your passions are. I think I would say that if you love what you do, then it doesn't feel like it's work.
mm-hmm.
So I would focus first on what you love, what you look for, what you gravitate to. Let's say if you love music, I guess pick it up. Pick up an
Okay.
instrument, see what uh, see what instrument would complement your love for music. If you're good at numbers, then maybe you can go into finance or something that will make you happy. I mean, I have been practicing for 22 years as a professional, at least for my profession. I do design and build, and I can't say on a daily basis I'm happy or I'm always smiling, but at least at the at every end of a project, there's something that I can see, something that I can show my kids, or a
Mm-hmm.
legacy that I can leave um, when I um, when I move on or pass on. So I think that's it for anyone who hasn't really found their calling. I think just look at your passion, what you love, and what will make you happy. I mean, life's too short, so
Yes.
do what you want to do. Do what you love. But sometimes God will just direct you to it. You just have to really listen. And yeah, it comes with age. Sad to say, but sometimes it really comes with age, the discernment. So you gotta
Yeah.
listen really, really well.
What do you remember your first drawing?
Oh yeah. Well,
Tell us about that.
it's always sticks. It's always stick figures. Everyone starts with that. Stick figures. So stick figures, the
I'm
head.
still at stick figures, by the way, just to let you know.
So it starts with stick figures, and then you go with the Mayon volcano view. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I used to draw the a mountain, a
Oh,
kubo, a tree, and then kids playing, and then birds. I would do that all the time. And then you'd be actually this gives me the this gives me a lot of goosebumps. When I was a kid, my mom is very prayerful, very spiritual. So we have the Sacred Heart or an image of Christ in their room by their headboard. And I think I was 7 to 10 years old. I would draw that image over and over again. And I think my mom saved some. I hope I could still, or she could still look for it, or at
oh, that
least
would be
remember
precious.
to paste it. And I would really do that image over and over again up until I perfected it. So yeah, it's funny. Now I remember that I would even stick it on the on my door just to when we were kids we got scared at night, so I would stick it on my door just to get all the just push all the evil spirits away, something like that. But that's how I remember my childhood, at least what I drew. And of course the robots. I mean,
Yes.
who doesn't, who hasn't, our childhood was really something else. you'd really have to draw it because you don't have YouTube, you don't have the internet to go back to. So you really had to use your mind. So you have to have a strong mental picture of what you
Mhm.
saw. So I drew the robots. Yeah, it was a fun childhood.
Here's a question. Which robot was it that you were drawing?
Oh my,
Do you
wala. It's
remember?
Voltes 5, hands down.
Voltes 5, ah? There
Yeah,
you go.
Voltes
Wow,
5. I hope
syempre,
I
uso-uso yun.
introduced Voltes 5 to my kids and wala. I just gave them a few minutes. Wala na. They didn't like it. They didn't like
I think we tried to introduce like Voltron or something like that. Didn't work.
Yeah.
But these are the ones that we enjoyed. Did you ever, because when I was younger, I tried drawing, but as I told you a while ago, I still draw stick figures. But I used to love drawing, uh, making mazes,
Oh
the
yes.
puzzle. Yep.
I
And
used to do
then
that.
I had a friend. I was like grade 2 or 3. We were kind of entrepreneurial. We would in the during class we would make a maze, and during recess we would sell it for 25 cents. Did you ever sell your drawings to anybody?
No, actually no. But who knows? Never too late. Maybe I'll do
That's true.
some art. Maybe I'll do some
Yep,
art. Yeah,
that's true.
it's an outlet. Yeah, it's an outlet. Been meaning to, but yeah, I really loved drawing. I love drawing. If you have it, you have it. I used to join art contests. I would always be one of um, the people, my class or my section would have me join the art contest every year, year in, year out. And I would just we're just a handful of, I guess, students who were good at it, who were really battling it. Every year, year on, meron ako laging hindi ko matalo na
Oh wow.
student. Magaling eh, magaling siya. I still remember his name. I just don't want to name names, but I still remember his name and laging kami naglalaban. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And then yan, and when I won, I'd be excited to tell my folks to come and see. They display it in a blackboard in San Agustin by the hallway. They display all the winners, the runner-ups, and that's my, I don't know, 15 minutes of fame, as you say.
Well, never experienced that,
Yeah.
but it's good. There's some people here are commenting about the robots, Voltes 5, Daimos.
See, it shows your age.
There you go. Wala pa ako nakitang ano, Mazinger Z here.
I love
That's
Mazinger Z.
another one.
I love
Yeah.
Mazinger Z as well. But Voltus 5 is still number one for me.
Oh yeah. I think
Definitely.
the story was epic, diba? But
Exactly.
yeah. So you're talking about at an early age you started drawing and you started to you know you know before Lego, right? At least before Lego became popular here, you would do, you would use whatever you have. Okay. In this day and age, there's an abundance of ready to build stuff. Do you think where do you draw the line between challenging people to use their imagination, to use whatever they have, and also take advantage of? Because is it what I'm trying to ask is it good to have everything ready made, just put it together, or is it still good for people to challenge kids to say, you just have sticks and paper and glue, just build something, because the demand now is, I saw this picture, I want that, otherwise I can't do it. So how do you help parents or even children right now to tap into that imagination?
At least for my kids, I see their homeworks, their projects, and it's quite similar to what we grew up doing. They, I saw them working with popsicle sticks. I saw them working with the paper we use for the parol. So they still do that. So I would commend the schools for, in fact, still keeping the tradition and making the kids realize that you really have to use your imagination more than anything. And even if I go with, let's say, I veer towards um, my work um, per se with my clients, I'm really a designer for value. Um, I would always tell them, most especially if it's a renovation.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell them that if you already have it, let's use it. Um, we don't have to take it out. We can just celebrate it. We can give it a little bit of a twist. You're correct, Pastor, in saying that everything is so available. It's just a flick of a finger or a
True.
click of a thumb, and you can get it after a few days, a few weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
it's up to the designer to really direct their client to, I guess, look out of the box and offer something else. In fact,
True.
in recent weeks, I decided to do some vlogs, do some personal vlogs, and show them, actually, even show you what I used in my house. It's nothing fancy. It's your ordinary plywood, steel, paint. It's just really putting things together. You really don't have to. Good design need not be expensive. So
True.
that's what I'm trying to, um, I guess, share with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it actually yourself. A lot of people have. I see them in this pandemic. A lot of people found out they could cook. A lot of people found out they had the carpentry skills. They
Mm-hmm.
had the they had the knack to play the guitar, the piano. I mean, just by watching YouTube, you can easily do it. So
True.
that's what I was espousing all in my vlogs. That you can do it. It's easy. It's easy.
So you mentioned a while ago about even at an early age you there was a passion to build and passion to draw. There's a for many people there's a gap between their passion and their gift, right? So they may be passionate for something, but they're not necessarily gifted for it. And there are people that have natural talents for certain things, but they're not drawn towards it. What do you think? I know that both is actually important for you to go far, but how important do you think? Where do you start? Do you start with a gift or do you start with a passion, or what's your view on these things?
I think you should start with passion. I think you should start with passion. I am I guess I'm a living example of passion, being passionate about what I do. I really fill my head with beautiful stuff. I have to be surrounded by it, um, however small it is. Like, let me show you one thing.
Okay,
Um,
go.
I have, I don't know if you,
Papay.
yes. So I have toys on my desk. That's a Lego figure.
Wow.
So I think with passion, because I think passion never goes away. It's your
Mm-hmm.
passion. It never goes away up until your last breath. Your passion is still there. I mean, the gift you can. enhance it. You can go and go have lessons, go take webinars, at least in this point in time, to cultivate it, build upon it, make your gift better. But if you don't have that passion, I think it's more difficult. I think the direction is quite uh, not as direct, not as firm. So I go with passion. You start with passion and don't lose it. Don't lose it. I mean, this is a career for me too, but I think
Yeah,
passion should be first. I think with especially for you, Pastor, I think that's your passion more than anything. You were just really given the gift, but this is your passion to do it, to talk to people. You have
yeah.
the passion for it. I see it.
You know, I'm one of those people that I was dreaming something when I was a kid, and then I was doing something different when I was in high school, and then I took something in college that's not related to what I was doing. I ended up in theater for a while, only to end up a minister. So it's been an interesting journey, but yours is also interesting to see the consistency from, you know, from the beginning when you started telling us your childhood, and even until now you're still passionate about it. You're still, in fact, you're not just passionate for you, it's also your passion to share with other people. But tell us something about a high school to college. Is this the same? Have you been consistent in that, or were you entertaining other thoughts, or how was Kokoy when he was in high school,
High
juvenile
school,
years?
wow, high school. I enjoyed my high school, Pastor. I enjoyed my high school. Shout out to my friends from CSA. They made it worthwhile. I really loved my high school life. CSA has molded me to who I am now. I mean, I'm outgoing, I'm friendly, I'm I'm me because of CSA, and yeah, I owe a lot to my teachers there. They opened my mind. Even if you read it's I was quite consistent, boring sometimes. Because even if you read my write up in my yearbook, they would architect is there.
Oh
Even my
wow,
friends knew I really wanted to be an architect. I never did entertain any other course in my head.
wow.
And then of course college, would you believe it? I got cut off. I took the exam in UP, the OPCAT, and my first choice was architecture. My second choice was behavioral studies, social sciences.
Oh
Totally
wow.
different. Totally different. My social science, just to truth be told, was just a plan B. So if I did get into architecture, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get in social science. And I just took one exam. I took UP. That's it.
Oh
So it
okay.
was UP or
Wow.
bust. So I did. Yeah. To everyone who's listening, I didn't I didn't get in right away in architecture. I
Oh
did not.
wow.
So I really fought hard for it because that was my passion. I really wanted to be an architect. Maano ako, makulit ako. Nothing could stop me to
Amazing.
be an architect. Nothing could stop me. I spent 2 years in UP Manila in behavioral studies. It helped me because behavioral studies, as the course name implied, was studying behavior of people. It's immersion, so you get to understand people and how they are, why they say things, why they react in a certain way, and it was good for me also to be exposed, and that's where I met my wife.
Oh wow. Kaya pala.
Yeah, yeah. So yun, siguro ano rin yan, purpose ni God. Yeah. So I was very consistent, Pastor, but the good thing about it is for everyone who's watching, for those who don't know yet what they want to do, I fought hard for it. I did not pass
Wow.
my I did that I did not get into architecture right away.
So, architect. So you from since childhood you this is what you wanted. That you took the test just in this school. You have been single-minded. Take us through that time when you first heard the news that you didn't get it, and what was your thought process there?
Hmm, actually, my sister was already in UP then. She was studying industrial engineering. So she was a dormer. She had
Mm-hmm.
her own apartment, and news came out that UPCAT results came in. So I think she was the one. She's watching. She was the one who checked the results of the UPCAT, and she did find my name, but yeah, she told me wala pang text message. Eh. So, ano bang
Oh,
nangyari sa akin nun? Tinawagan ako. I don't know, the kids don't know the dialing thing, the dialing song. Di ba? Our childhood was
yeah.
so fun. We got to experience that thing. Yung tatlong 25, di ba? So,
Yes.
my sister used that payphone and called us at home in Parañaque with my folks. Sabi niya, Koy, I have good news and bad news. So the good news is you passed UP. You have a school. Okay, so what's the bad news? Sabi niya, it's not architecture. So, you know what? Um, of course, I felt a little disappointed. I really wanted to be an architect. But I I'm a ano eh, I'm an optimist by heart. So
Uh-huh. Okay.
well, just by passing, I always look at the good side of things. Alam mo sabi sa akin ng doctor ko? I have a head doctor. She would always tell me, "Koy, you're such a Pollyanna. You're such a Pollyanna. So you look at the good in everything." So, yun, sabi ko, "Okay, that's fine. I have a school and it's UP. So let's see what happens. I can just shift." That's what my sister said. But she said pala na, "Koy, it's all right. Give it a few ano, and then try to shift. Give it a year, and then you apply to architecture." But I had fun in UP Manila again. So it took me 2 years. I took my time. I took my time.
Okay. So,
So there, yeah.
okay, see, a lot of people would be discouraged, and they will prolong that discouragement, you know, and it will throw them off course. But still, you had that single-mindedness, direction towards. You know what? It's okay. I mean, if you're listening, that's a very good way to look at things, because the tendency of people is to look at the bad and just immerse ourselves in that and just go all in with our feelings. But eventually, you'll have to see you won't see other possibilities. So that's a good thing for people to have, especially the time that we were going through high school, college. Of course, is very different now, because back then we didn't have social media, and right now we can, whether people are aware of it or not, you just shout out your disappointment and whatever. And what's not good, I would say, in regards to social media, is a lot of people will feed that one and reinforce that. You know what? Yeah, and so, but is there something that you can say to people, for those
Um,
people who are facing discouragement or something, right there, if they're going through
uh,
it right now?
right. It's right now. You can easily be a hashtag.
Mm.
That's the thing. You can be a hashtag. You can be trending right away. If you don't get the likes that you like, you'd feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a dad, I actually don't allow my kids to. go on FB yet or go on social networking. Um, it affects it affects a lot of people. It right now, most especially because it's so easy. You're faceless. Most of the time, you're faceless. They don't know who you are. It's a profile pic that
Mm.
they base your comment on. It doesn't even have to be you. You can even use a different name. So you can just easily be a hashtag. So for everyone who's feeling the anxiety, the stress, the loneliness, the hardships, I mean, you're not alone. I'm here. I'm also feeling the same thing. But it's, I guess, like what I said, it's your faith that will hold on to your testimony, your faith. I mean, that's sometimes, no, actually, not sometimes. That's what's gonna keep you going. That's what's gonna refresh you. Um,
True.
I read the Bible almost every day, not the physical one. I use technology to my advantage. So
Mm.
that's good about being ano ba ako, Gen X. Yeah, Gen X. So that's good about being a Gen Xer. You get to you're computer savvy, but at the same time you also experience reading the Bible physically, putting
Yeah.
highlight. So what I do is my suggestion, at least to people who are listening and watching, is use the Bible app. It
True.
wakes me up. It's like my alarm. It's my alarm, and the verse for the day is there. So I do my quiet time every morning, and then I also have an alarm in the afternoon. So there's another alarm in the afternoon when I get a little tired. I need a pick me up, or I mean, we're we have to face it. We have to face and accept what's going on. I think that's the first
Mm.
step in getting rid of the anxiety and the stress. You
Mm.
accept what's happening, and it's not. You accept the fact that it's not only happening to you. It's not all about you. It's everyone's experiencing this. I think it was Pastor Rick Warren.
Mm.
Um, Rick Warren's my mentor. Eh. I haven't met him, but this pastor really saved
Listen
my
to him.
life.
Yeah.
I already told this to you in Pastora.
Yeah.
I think he was the one who said that we are not on the same boat, but we are in the same storm.
Wow.
So yeah, just be kind. Just be offer instead of before you type, before saying anything, think twice, thrice. In fact, always remember that the only person you can control is yourself. So before you type that
Wow.
hate message or that
Mm.
whatever comment, oh my God, just take a breather, take a
Preach
walk.
it.
Yeah, take a walk, play with your dog, play with your, I don't know, read a book
Children.
instead. Yeah, offer hope rather than giving or adding more hate, putting fuel in the fire.
Yes. Yes. Was there ever a point in your, I'd say, younger years or so? Was there ever a rebel Kokoy or a stage where you felt like it's a rebellious stage now that you look back? Was there ever a point like that, or it's always been, you know, no, I'm gonna be this or whatever?
I've
Was there
been in
ever a
them.
point?
Um, I used to go out a lot. I don't know if you consider that as rebelling, but right now I am part of a small group, Pastor. I'm happy to say, and I think I told you that. And
Yeah.
I also thank you. I thank New Life for actually this whole time, ever since the start of the pandemic, the quarantine. New Life has reached out to me every so often. You you will always reach out to me. So I'm sure you're doing it for the others. And it's a very, very, very helpful way of just hi, saying hello. How are you doing? It's not even preaching. It's just saying hello, offering, because it may come at a very, very dark time for a
Mm-hmm.
certain person. Anyway, going back to your question, rebelling. Nako, I've been a Boy Scout.
There you go.
Rebelling. Oh
Well,
my!
you
Siguro
don't
I
have
had
to. You
mixture
don't have.
of going
Yeah, you
out.
don't have to force it if there's none.
Well, I have my brother to thank for it.
There you go.
Sorry, he's watching. He's watching.
There you go.
So
Give
he
him
would,
credit.
growing up, he was my also one of my mentors or idols.
There
Sorry
you
to
go.
change it. I looked up to him. I don't want to use the word idol. Bawal, bawal. Di ba? So he would always tell me, or the thing that stuck to me up to today is, sabi niya, Koy, ask those people coming back if you don't know where you're headed. So apart from me asking, I'm very visual. I would watch. I
Mm.
would observe. I'm very observant. Siguro ganun yung arkitekto. That's how we were, or that's my gift. So pinapanood ko lang siya. I was watching him make mistakes. I was watching him rebel, so to speak. And I was watching my folks really, wow, blow up and I don't know, house was like topsy-turvy during his days. So, wala, ah, Boy Scout, I would go out. Sabi nga ng nanay ko when I was growing up, especially during college, laman daw ako ng kalye. They couldn't find me at home. And then, oh sige, siguro this is the closest to being a rebel. I'd sleep driving.
Oh
I
my
was,
lord.
yeah, yeah, when I was younger, after gimmick, I'd find myself in the middle of the gutter, my car in the middle of the gutter, and I was asleep. Nakakatulog nga ako. So, I passed through that, and then there were a few times I'd find myself sleeping uh, outside our house in the car. Aircon was on. Yeah, that's about it. And then I found myself one of my birthdays. I'd love to host parties. Eh. I got this
Okay.
from my father. My father used to have a lot of birthday parties. He would invite his friends over, like till wee hours in the morning. So my house was a party place. My friends know this. So um, I slept outside. I slept on the street.
Oh
Nakatulog
wow.
ako. Hindi naman ako mag-isa, may kasama naman ako. So, ginigising na lang ako nung kasama namin sa house. Sabi niya, "Kuya, kuya, umaga na." So, that kind of thing. I think it's just youth. Like I said, there wasn't any social media then. There was no,
Yes.
it was just really drinking your normal pale pilsen pa nga eh. There wasn't any variety to choose from. Yeah. But
I
I
guess
enjoyed
also
childhood.
the budget was very different also
Oh
at that
yes,
time. So
definitely.
limited.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember the bar. Yeah, the bar. I'm sure
Uh,
other people would remember that. It's a mixed drink during your days. Not
so
like nowadays, yeah. Yes, Pastor.
yeah. So okay, going through college and uh, at first entering college denied uh, your first
Yeah,
option.
denied.
Yes, but when you were taking your board exam, your licensure for being an architect, you ended up being top 10, part of the top 10. Is that right?
Yeah, I placed ninth in the board exam.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, when I read that, sabi ko, wow, that's amazing. We're actually working with somebody who's a top architect, at least in his batch, no? But I'm just amazed how God, because I didn't know your story prior to reading the thing, right? But now
Yeah.
you're telling me that you've been denied, but where God can take you if you just stay the course, the if you have the resolve to stay the course in what you believe God put in you, God can bring you to a place where it seems expert would say, or people around, or the people who make judgment before say you're not allowed here, or you don't qualify here. That's just an amazing thing that God can do. So how did you celebrate that? What did you feel when you realized na when now you're looking at a different list from your beginning where your name was not there in your first option, now you see yourself. How is that? Tell us about that.
Um, I'm also a person who just looks forward. So those things never really pop up anymore. But I'll tell you a story. I'll tell everyone a story. I think nowadays nga, the most important thing nowadays are your narratives.
Mm,
Yeah, more than anything else. It's your story. The story behind Pastor Alvin, the story behind Architect Kokoy. Oh, what happened in your past and what made
yeah,
you? I'll give you a really, really, really fun story. The
go
night
for it.
before my board exam, I was studying. I was really studying. I really wanted to get my license and start designing, being an architect, being proclaiming and saying that, wow, finally, arkitekto na ako. I have been dreaming and wishing about this since I was like 5 or 7. So, studying, my dad calls me up. Calls me up. Okay, may cordless na nun. May cordless phone. The cordless phone was beside me. So, I answered. So, it was my dad. Oh, pa. I call him Papa. Pa, what's up? So, he told me, anak, alam ko, bukas yung exam mo. Sabi niya, alam ko naman, papasa ka eh. My dad is ano, my dad, you have to understand, my dad is not a very showy person. My dad will not, hindi, he's a machismo type of guy. So, him calling me then was something else, and he telling me this was another thing. So, he told me, anak, papasa ka naman, alam ko. Pero, mas pustahan tayo. So, he offered me a bet. Sabi niya, pustahan tayo. Um, pag nag-top ka or pag nag-place ka sa exam, bibilhan kita ng kotse. Sabi niya gano'n.
Wow.
'Di ba? So, this is true story and look at the smile on my face because he's no longer with us anymore. May his soul rest in peace, but I love my father. So, day comes, I take the exam. Yung results namin matagal lumabas eh. I think it took the panel a lot of reviewing. Kasi we were like 3-5 who took the exam, 3,500 exam takers, and initially parang 10% or 15% lang yung pumasa.
Wow.
So they had to review it again. They had to like lower or I guess reconsider the others because a lot of the exam takers were from the province. I mean, kawawa naman sila
Okay.
if
Yeah.
they had to take it again. So, day comes, ang ina-announce naman kasi kaagad was, may internet na nito ah. Okay, just to give
Okay.
the viewers a little,
Yes,
uh,
yes.
may internet na, dial-up, dial-up. I had Pacific,
1999, 1999.
yeah, I had Pacific internet, so dial-up. So, day comes, a friend of mine, an architect friend of mine, May phone na rin, may text message, pero ano, Nokia.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so a friend of mine texted me. I think he probably is watching. Another architect friend of mine texted me, "Koy, the results have gone out. It's I think Inquirer. It's in the website of
Oh,
Inquirer. Check it out. And you're part of the top 10." Tapos sabi ko, wow. I was like, wala, speechless, speechless. But I had to make sure inabangan ko yung nagde-deliver ng dyaryo the next day. So, it's funny, inabangan ko kasi my dad didn't wanna believe me. My father didn't wanna believe me. Sabi ko kasi sa kanya, "Pa, paano na? You lost. Let's go. Let's go, let's go." So, inabangan ko talaga yung dyaryo the next day. I mean, I had to kung hindi ako nagkakamali, nagkotse ata ako, pumunta ako dun sa commercial area. We call it commercial area for those who didn't grow up in our era. We call it commercial area. Go to the commercial area and buy me whatever. So I went to the commercial. For people who live in UPS, it's Aling Nelia. Aling Nelia's
oh,
tindahan, and I bought like three newspapers. Oo, tinago ko pa. Yeah, I hope my wife has it or at least my mom has a copy. So yun, pinakita ko sa tatay ko, "Oh, ayan pa ha, oh, evidence,
wow.
evidence." Yes, praise God. So anyway, he got me a car. It wasn't brand new kasi nga hindi naman niya sinabi, may disclaimer pala.
Oo
Kasi,
nga eh,
"Oh, how
sayang.
come you're giving me a second-hand
You
car?"
should have made sure.
Yeah, "How come you're giving me a second-hand car?" And then he says, "Bakit? Sinabi ko ba bang brand new?" So,
Mautak.
yeah,
Good job.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, my
So what
that
was your first car? What was your first car?
that pickup,
Oh, okay.
L200 Mitsubishi pickup, is still with
You
me.
chose that.
Yes, it's still with me.
Oh,
I
talaga?
had it.
Wow.
Yeah, I gave it to my brother.
Okay.
I gave it to my brother, but it's still with us. It's still with us. It's still running. So it's a reminder. I'm gonna show it to my kids. Actually, my kids. I used it to pick up my kids. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm gonna show it to them when time comes. I'll show it to them and tell them, "Hey, your Lolo gave that to me. I
So,
won that in a bet."
will you challenge your kids with the same bet?
Uh, Actually, I just did. I just
Oh, you
did.
did.
Yeah, I did it to my daughter. But
Okay.
kids nowadays are, I don't know, they're not into that thing. It was just a challenge. I told her, kasi she loves to play the keyboards, the piano. So
Hmm.
I'm also guilty of watching, ano ba ito? What's that Korean thing? Uh, Now I forget. There was like a famous guy playing the piano.
Okay.
So
We need help from our social media people. What is that show, Korean show with a guy playing the piano? Come on, guys,
yeah,
help us out.
anyway, it's top of my head. But anyway, so I told her, "Anak, if you crash
Crash
landing,
landing on you. There
yeah,
you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Siyempre si
Chloe,
Shobe
Chloe,
yon.
Chloe,
Go
Chloe to
Shobe.
the younger ones." So I finished that. My wife and I watched it. So I told her, "Anak, come watch this." Ano, and I love this piano piece that the guy played, composed and played. So can you learn it for dad and play it on his birthday? Sabi ko, "I'll give you whatever you want.
Wow.
Oh, I'll
That's
give you
quite
whatever
different
you want.
from
Oh, I'll give you
wow.
whatever you want." Kasi knowing nga na she probably wouldn't bite. So, yeah, I do it to them, but the kids nowadays aren't really as they're not like that. I don't know, maybe my kids are not as driven yet. They're not into that thing yet. I don't know.
At that
It's
age,
different.
were you driven at that age? Would you
Was
say?
I driven at that age? I think at that age, I would just take whatever was thrown at me. I think I was like that. I I didn't really study much.
Mm-hmm.
Pumapasa naman ako. I studied when I needed to. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it more than hindi naman kami, we weren't pressured by our folks to like be the top of the class or give us
Mm-hmm.
eagle. In CSA, it's eagle, eagle awardee or
Okay.
get a certificate. I mean, it was they give us a prize, a reward. My reward then was if I got a good grade, we would go to a hobby shop. I would buy those Tamiya
Uh,
models. Yan.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was my prize and reward then. But nowadays
So,
it's sad that I guess kids kasi think they can just easily get it.
mm,
Hmm. Yeah.
things are readily available.
Oh yeah.
Also, a generation where you go to school, at least, I'm not generalizing, I'm not saying all schools do it or all contests do it. Everyone gets a prize. There's no aiming for like the top because everybody gets a prize. You don't want to
Exactly.
celebrate the top,
Exactly.
you don't want to name the best or whatever. But there's something about that helps you attain or reach for something. Anyway, speaking about reaching something, so you were top 10, top 9 in your class. You could have, you know, uh, was there an option for you? Did you consider being employed? Because I think you chose to get further education, if I'm not mistaken.
Um Actually prior to that I tried applying. I even applied abroad. I applied I emailed this architectural firm, a famous architectural firm, and there wasn't any openings. I think then there wasn't much opening for
Mm-hmm.
there weren't a lot of career opportunities then versus today. So I was really forced into doing it on my own, starting a firm on my own, making my own mistakes, and then
Wow.
doing further studies, doing further um, studying further courses. I mean, if you don't have any project, I would join seminars,
Okay.
uh, accounting for non-accountants, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Stuff that would try to enrich you or help you out in your business. That's about it. But I really wasn't able. I did not work for a firm. That's the only
Okay.
thing. That's my
So you
only.
tried, no? You tried to get
I
employed.
did. I did. Oh, I did. I did apply.
So can you imagine that? I'm just thinking, for somebody who's top 9 in the board, you'd think that, you know, companies or whatever would be aiming for the top students that graduated in their batch. But that could have been another downer for you. Say, you know what, I worked so hard and to get to this point and nobody wants me, and that, people can get discouraged doing, but instead there's something again that shifted you focus on something else. You decided to do it on your own. You decided to further the education. But what led you to that decision to, I'll just start on my own? What was that like? Because that's quite different from, working for somebody, just learning the ropes there, but to step out right away from from college to say, I'll do this. Wow, what led you to that decision aside from the stuff that you already mentioned?
Actually, Pastor, I was lucky. Um, a friend of my mom gave me a project right away. Gave me a
Wow.
project. Would you believe? The first project that I did was a convenience store with a salon, a beauty
Oh,
salon,
wow.
with a house. So it was amazing. I say it was amazing because what I did was I designed it from ground up. I designed
Okay,
the
wow.
footing, I designed the columns, I designed the beams. I would call my professors because we had a little bit of training when it came to the other allied professions like the structural part of it, the electrical
Mm-hmm.
part of it, the plumbing. I don't want to bore the viewers, but I called my professors. I called a professor of mine, some engineers to help me
Uh-huh.
compute. I was computing up
Okay,
to the roof. Kasi wala man
wow.
ako malapitan. I didn't know what to do.
That's true.
I didn't know what to do. I just have the certificate. I have my seal. I had my architectural seal, and I have my drawing board on my computer in front of me. And I had the project. And these people are willing to pay me. So wow, let's go. So I was so eager to dip my
Wow.
fingers or dip my feet. So I dove and really did it.
Wow.
I just dove into it and ginawa ko. Ay, hindi ako natakot. Uh,
Wow.
Ganun ako eh. I'm not that fearful because yun nga, like we mentioned earlier, know thyself. Know yourself. I was willing to make mistakes. I think that's the
There
most
you go.
important part of any profession or anything that you'd like to venture in. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. In fact, um, that educated me more
Mm.
versus what I learned in the university
Mm-hmm.
versus what I've learned by reading. It's all the experiences. Yeah, yeah.
So, in your first project, did you make mistakes in your first project?
I think no news is good news. So looks like I just designed it. So I think they just followed it. They had their own contractor. I wasn't able to visit it as much.
Uh-huh.
But of course, the others, when I was starting to be a builder, a contractor, yeah, I made I made a lot of mistakes. I have to admit. Um, People would always, clients would always think that you should, it always should be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But experience says, at least in my case, that you work with imperfect materials
Mm-hmm.
being put together by imperfect people. I
Yeah.
mean, the product, one plus one should equal also something imperfect. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's not really striving for perfection. I think you try to strive for excellence
Good.
more than perfection. Kasi nga, you're just as good as your people.
Yeah.
You're just as good as your workers. I am just as good as my previous project. So if my previous project didn't work out, then that can be also reflective of me. And sometimes, actually not sometimes, all the time, you're not in control.
Mm.
He is. He is. So you just do
Wow.
what you can. You do your best. You do the best
That's
of your
good.
abilities. I would always harp on the of what you do with your God-given talents.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would always harp on. I mean, if you do your, a lot of us have talents. We just don't know
Yeah.
it's there. So what do you do with it? Do you help people with your talents? Like if you love singing, then entertain people, try to give them hope, make them
Yeah.
happy. Ako naman, my talent is to really draw, to envision stuff,
Wow.
to house people in structures. So I really try to help people through my workers, of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So let's unpack certain things that you said because I think it's really gonna help people. No, again, just for those people who are watching, we're talking to architect Coco here, and it's been a very interesting journey so far in his life, and just write down, pick up whatever you can pick up in terms of life lessons and all of that. But he just mentioned something. You just mentioned something that I want you to kind of expound a little bit. um, Instead of striving for perfection, strive for excellence. What exactly do you mean by that?
Um, it's more of you should push yourself. I would always push myself. Clients push me. Um, my workers push me in a way that I should look out of the box, do something
Mm,
different, do something that hasn't been done. I
yeah.
think in my previous partnership, the the culture there was to really
Mm,
push the envelope of architecture, not architecture that you've seen, but architecture that would rival architecture elsewhere.
mm,
Um, it's also being honest with yourself because nobody's perfect.
yeah.
Nothing ever is, nobody is, only God is. So, and I'm not perfect. In fact, uh, that's how I wanted to be introduced. I'm such an there's a lot of I'm still a work in progress. Though I
Yes.
have kasi the difference between a professional and an expert is the experience.
Okay. That's good.
It's the same way, it's the same thing as perfection and excellence. So you can't really get everything perfect. You can't. No way.
Yeah.
No way. Why do you think the phones keep on evolving? Why do you
That's true.
think the phones have updates? Because they're imperfect. There'll
Yeah.
be times that you
True.
have to refresh, update. But the only thing in my profession, you can't update. I can't refresh. If I make a
Mm-hmm.
mistake, then it hits me right back. I have to fix it, and it's gonna cost me.
True.
So you just strive for excellence because first and foremost, my workers aren't excellent. They're not excellent actually to begin with. They may
Mm-hmm.
be good. Good. Kasi ano yan, di ba? I mean, if you're just gonna base it on report cards, it's just
Yep.
fail, fair, good, very good,
Uh-huh.
excellent. So, wala naman doon nakalagay perfect eh.
Yep.
Unless, unless you got a perfect score, but still,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the semester, you're not gonna get 100.
Yep.
Unless somebody here had or has, good for you. But that doesn't mean you're a perfect person. That just
True.
means
True.
you're excellent. Be excellent in what you do. I'm not. I'm still not excellent in what I do. I still have a lot to work on. I can say I'm experienced. That one
Oh.
I can really um, bank on, or I can really, you cannot boast eh, diba? So I
Yeah.
I'm experienced. I'm experienced. I'm a professional because I took an exam and this is my profession. Siguro expert na ako because of the experience.
True. It takes humility to be able to say, you know what, I'm not. You can be a perfectionist. It doesn't mean you're perfect. And I think the danger sometimes of being a perfectionist, especially coupled with if you are impatient, you never end up finishing a project because there's always something that you're not happy with. So you'd push it back or stop doing it, you get frustrated. So that's not always a good attitude to have. But to for somebody to strive for excellence, that's something very different. I mentioned being humble because I think it takes humility for you to, as a fresh grad, you just got your license and you're one of the top people that finished or passed the board. It's so easy to just go, to prove yourself that you're top 10. But you were humble enough to go back to your mentors, to your teacher, and say, hey, I, I don't know this part, right? People would say, oh, you should know it because you're top 10, di ba? Pero to go back, to have that in you to say, I need help. Do you think people who are sometimes very well, they have all the theories perfect in their head, but theories don't equate to experience, diba? So, what do you say to people who may have all these qualifications on paper, but they have not practiced anything? Is there something you wanna speak about regarding these things?
I guess you go back down to your talents.
Mm,
Um, y- you have this. I think God made us all different. So I know of a lot of my friends, or at least a close friend of mine, is pretty much fits the profile. I mean, on paper, he's very very good
yeah.
with certain things, with finance, etc. But he can't seem to find a niche for him to display or to exercise said theories or his
Mm-hmm.
talent to do so. Um, he is also puzzled that he can't do so. So what I always tell him is maybe you need not get into that profession. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
that particular profession you're proficient on. Like you, for example, Pastor, you studied, you ventured in theater, but you ended up being a pastor. I mean, God gives you the skills, the talents, but eventually you'll find out that He's gonna put you here
True.
if you don't fight it. Baka kasi, yun nga, I told my friend, baka you've been fighting it. Baka you've been like trying to be someone that He didn't uh,
Design you to be.
designed you to be. There
Mm-hmm.
you go. So, I think for me, looking back now, I was just siguro, I just had the firm resolve to be an
Yeah.
architect. I prayed for it. So, God is a very easy person to talk to. Eh. He'll give you what you want.
Wow.
Actually, di ba, that's why there's free will. Eh, go and take up that, go take your exam. See where it leads you. But I still don't know if this is my final, my final destination, being an architect. Who knows, tomorrow I'm helping my wife in her shoe business. So no, I'll be selling shoes tomorrow if I don't continue with my profession. But never lose that passion, never lose that fire in you, and never lose
Yeah.
hope. It's there.
You know who ended up being a shoemaker now?
Who?
He's a well-known actor, multiple Oscars. Daniel Day Lewis.
Oh wow. Oh
He
wow.
so he
Favorite
quit
actor niyan.
acting. He stopped
Last of
acting,
the Mohicans.
and he's making handmade shoes. Can you imagine the shift, diba?
Yeah.
Parang so you're talking about shiftings and seasons and whatever.
Total
Um,
opposite side of the
oh
spectrum.
yeah, but that takes courage to do that, to suddenly shift. Not just relying on what you know to do, but again, I guess following your passions and then your
Actually,
giftings.
Pastor, this quarantine has shown, and I've seen it, that like I mentioned earlier, people found their love to cook, love or what do you call this? Rediscovered their passion to cook, to do gardening, to
Mm,
paint, to sing, to play an instrument, to be a life coach. I mean, if you want to see the positive, again, no pun intended, if you want to see the positive in this time of all of this negativity, then it's really rediscovering yourself.
wow.
It's finding out something that you were good at that you did not know pre-COVID. I mean,
Wow.
I in my head, my dad loved to cook. He loved to cook. He would cook for us during Sundays. We'd have that Sunday lunch. So I always had it in my head that actually not my head, my heart that I probably know how to cook. So ngayon, finally, I got to cook. I also got to cook. I also had the chance to do so. I revisited also playing the guitar and playing the piano. So it's pretty much that. That's the beauty of this pandemic. It's
I think what
actually
happened,
yeah,
yeah, sorry, go ahead, finish it.
it's actually making people rediscover themselves.
Yeah,
And it's actually making people closer even if they're far away. 'Di ba? How ironic.
yeah, yeah,
Like I talk to my friends on a daily basis. I talk to my siblings on a daily basis. Whereas pre-COVID, we'll just see each other when there's a birthday, when
true.
there's an occasion. I mean, every day you see what they eat, you see what they do. It
Yeah,
encourages you. It gives you hope that, oh, okay, I can probably cook. Let me try that recipe of yours. Can I borrow? Can we trade whatever you're selling? Trade and barter, that sort of thing.
yeah. I think what has happened to a lot of people is that the giftings and the callings and the passions that they used to have when they were younger got buried in the routinary because they have to earn a living. And now, suddenly, when they were given a chance to take a breather from all the busyness, and they were able to unpack all the stuff that you know they've been wanting to do or wanted to try for a long time, and now they're discovering, hey, I can do, like for me, I have reaffirmed during this COVID pandemic time. uh, it got reaffirmed in me that I really like to eat. That's always the case. But I tried cooking for my anniversary with Pastor
Oh
Mitchell.
yeah,
I
I watched your 25-day push-up thing. See?
yeah,
I was
it's
watching
still
that.
uh, it's not obvious that it worked,
Well,
but
Filipinos love to eat. Yeah.
yes. Okay, this is something I want people to be aware of about your vision for design. Is you're also very environmentally conscious, diba? I think that's one of the things that when you put up your company, that's one thing that you want people to be aware of, your clients, your the people that you work with. So tell us more about why so conscious about why do you think it's important for us to be aware of taking care of environment and putting that and having that in your design and your build.
Well, first and foremost, a lot of designers, or actually even before, even in the olden days, the designers really took from nature. They really took from nature. I mean, if you look at the cathedrals, if you look at the places of worship, if you look at these intricate designs, it's a mimicry, or it's a representation of nature. May it be a leaf, may it be a drop of rain, the prism that it creates. It's a replication, or it's getting your inspiration from nature. So these nature came before us. Like, um, I have quite a number of projects that we did from ground up that had trees. I'm always opposed to
Okay.
cutting trees. I'm opposed to that, unless the client, of course, decides
Insist.
to take it out. Yes. So my design would always go around trees, because they've been there longer than us, and we usually forget as designers that these trees, in fact, will help our architecture. It provides shade. It provides O2, oxygen. It gives you the
Right.
birds. I think we experience it. All of us experience it nowadays. That's why we have this harsh weather. You have to understand, our weather is very harsh, and we are just adding to it. If we take out the trees, we cut down the trees, we uh, cut the mountains, and so on and so forth. I mean, everyone is also affected by it. So that's why there are designers like I am who would espouse green building technologies. Just in fact, just by you keeping a tree and using certain materials that are farmed, or we did this beach house in Batangas, wherein 90% of the materials were repurposed. We got
Oh
the
wow.
wood. We got the wood from old houses. We the client, of
Yeah.
course, had this concept of doing so. Thanks to her.
Yeah.
I hope she's listening. Thank you. So our eyes were open. At least my
Yeah.
eyes were open that you can, in fact, use repurpose old material. In the new construction, you need not buy the real stone. You need not buy uh, real wood or new wood. At least buy the farmed one. At least you're not
Yeah.
killing a forest. You're not killing a mountain. You're
Right.
not, because the real stone comes from these mountains.
Yeah.
Diba? The minerals and all of that thing. You try to espouse. And then, of course, there's the advent of the solar panels, the
Uh-huh.
LED lights. So that helps. I mean, I
Yeah.
just got my green building certificate last year, and
Oh wow.
it's really just a checklist. It's pretty much just a checklist of what you have, even before you start with designing, of what you can, like if you have a water recycling thing. Alam mo yun, yung when we were
Yeah.
growing up, my mom would, "Oy, umuulan, umuulan. Labas mo yung timba, labas mo yung ano." That's
That's
how
true. That's
simple
true.
it can be. Yung kasi I live in Parañaque, eh. So I'm proud to say that I grew up in a place na mahirap ang tubig.
Yes.
Parañaque, I mean, if you had your water delivery every other day, people would laugh. Kasi nga, meron kaming delivery, water delivery. So my mom would really be a stickler for using water. So even yung
Yeah.
mga ginagamit namin to gargle and whatever, you have to,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sorry
Naka-ration,
to
huh?
say, but yan, ganun ang mom ko. That's how she did it. You use it to flush the toilet. Something like that. And
Wow.
in Japan, it's like that as well. I'm sure a lot of your viewers have been to Japan, or at least watched a movie na
True. True.
Japan. There's a water closet na you wash your hands on top of the commode. There's a faucet
Ah.
on
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
commode. So the
And
the
they
soap,
flush it. Yeah.
yeah, the soap gets into the tank, and that soap is used to flush your ano, your thing,
Makes
yeah, or
sense.
whatever, yeah. So that's how easy it is. So let's help nature. It's not as difficult as you think.
That's true. That's true. So, for those of you watching and you have a project, and if you want your building or your design to be more eco-friendly, you can consult or hire architect Kokoy, because I really
Because
appreciate that concept. No.
yeah, because Pastor, if statistically the thing that really emits heat are the structures. They're not they're not your cars.
Hmm.
No, it's the structures, it's the buildings, it's the factories. Yun yun.
So let me interject.
Yeah.
Because there's really this big push towards climate, you know, awareness and all of these things. And one of the things that they say really, and you listen to different groups of people. One, of course, you have one spectrum that's denying it, and you have one spectrum that's pushing all these immediate changes, and even uh, you know uh, reminding people na Armageddon is coming because we're not taking care of by this year, 20 something, 2030, 24, 2050, everything will be depleted. So you have all these spectrums. No? So you're saying very interesting, and this, I think one of the first, or the first time I hear it na, it's not really the cars, but the buildings. Can you just explain that to us a little bit so we learn a little?
Actually, if I've watched the one of, I think that was Al Gore,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, or one of the vice presidents. And then
Yeah, Al Gore. That was Al Gore.
there are some shows in,
Inconvenient truth, I think.
yes, there are some shows in Netflix that also shows that information, that it's really the buildings that create all of the heat, the pollution. It's those factories. It's, imagine, I'll give you an idea. All of us use air conditioning in our homes.
Mm,
So imagine at night, in one condo alone,
true.
maybe what, 10 units in a floor times 30, 50 floors. All of those air cons are emitting heat.
Run.
In fact, if you check the stats, I think Japan is number one.
Wow.
Japan is number one, being followed by the US, so on and so forth. Yan. Number one sila, even kasi, I guess, with the area, it's the area, of
Mm-hmm.
course, versus the heat emission. Maliit lang naman ng Japan. It's like island. So, they're number one kasi they also manufacture. And I think in recent days, China has surpassed all of them.
Uh huh.
There was even a year that I think more than half of the crane in the world was in China.
Oh wow.
Kasi grabe yung construction dun eh. The construction boom there, I think a few years back, was something else. They really wanted to,
Yes.
yeah, build, and build,
Mm-hmm.
without thinking of the repercussions to
True.
to nature and the air quality.
So do you support you because there's this in another group of people, they're so involved in this, and I understand, as a believer, I understand. I think the idea of stewardship, this the Bible says the earth is mine and everything in it. That's God saying. So this is really borrowed. This is for us. What God has given us to live in and to steward. We need to take care of it. So, but there are people who are using it. I would say this, using it uh, for political uh, uh, purposes, and to maybe even control and manipulate. And that's, I'm sure that there are those people as well. But how do you, as a believer, what are your views in terms of taking care of the planet, as a person who believes what the Bible says and all of that.
Well, this pandemic has definitely showed everyone, or has shown us, each and every one of us, that nature needs to heal. A lot of people have seen, I myself, I mean, the sky was clear during the pandemic,
Mm,
during the ECQ. It was clearer. We had the chance to let nature heal. Even what they did to Boracay, it had the
yeah,
chance, the island itself had the chance to heal, to clean itself, which is in fact like us. So
true.
it was a time for us for to, I guess, what do you call this? To um,
Calibrate.
calibrate, reboot,
Yeah, reboot.
and see where we're at. We were just, I think pre-COVID, I have to say, I was just too tired. I was too tired. I was so exhausted, super exhausted.
Hmm.
Sabi nga nila, I think Pastor Rick again, sorry.
Yeah,
I keep
sure, sure.
saying and quoting him, but he's really my mentor. He saved my life, at least by listening to his podcast. I haven't met him. So he said that, um, I lost it. But it was him who said that you have to uh, find in yourself
Hmm.
to and reboot
Uh huh.
and to understand that the enemy sometimes, if he can't make you do or commit a sin, he'll get you busy.
Yeah.
He'll
I think
get
that's a concept that even C.S. Lewis in the Screw Tape Letters also alluded to that, where the the two demons were talking, and they were talking about they, in a sense, cannot really stop Christians from being who they are, but if we can keep them busy, then that's something, at least it will distract them, diba? That's very interesting.
pre-COVID. That was my life in a nutshell. I
Mm.
was just too busy. I got too busy. I got too busy that I didn't have time to reflect. I did not have time to focus on my kids. I mean, have a really meaningful talk with them and meaningful time with
Uh,
them. Minus, of course, what's being done by the schools, yung mga father and son, that type of thing.
yeah.
But because of this pandemic, I get to spend every day with them. My son's computer station is right beside me. So I hear him. I know what he plays with or talks to, and he also knows what I do on a daily basis. Now he gets to appreciate what I do.
Wow.
I
Would you say, architect, that this pause that we are experiencing right now, because it's not necessarily, it's maybe towards the tail end, hopefully in Jesus' name, uh,
yes,
but
amen.
would you say that we have discovered what is truly essential? All this talk about this is not essential, that's essential. Tayo rin, no, parang hopefully we're getting more aware of what's truly essential in life, and I believe that's you're saying that. Just
Def-
going back to what you mentioned a while ago, and then I'll just tie it together because it's
yeah,
interesting. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, God made a rule, gave a rule to the people of Israel, that they can plant, use the land to plant for 6 years, if I'm not mistaken, but to let it rest not don't do anything for a year on the seventh year. Sabbath, right? Because we were designed to have a Sabbath, right? 6 days God created the world, and the sixth day man was created. The first day of man is actually the Sabbath. Interesting. So we were born for rest, or we operate from rest. But also, interestingly enough, God also made at least the people of Israel aware that you need to make the land rest. And I think I'm not saying at all that God put the pandemic there so that we can be at rest. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that the earth is now taking a breather in a sense. And you've seen the picture of empty streets, tapos there are animals all over the place. Very interesting.
Yeah. So, what was the question again, Pastor?
No, I think we were just discussing about rebooting and all of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it
No, about
was.
the essential.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes. Now
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, short-term memory.
No, no problem.
No, but yes, definitely. Guilty as charged. Guilty as
Yeah.
charged. I mean, I'm humble enough to say that pre-pandemic, you purchase stuff that um, you realize today that you really don't need. You really don't need. It's a temporary source of happiness, enjoyment, um, being in, having the
Yeah.
latest phone, having the latest gadget, having the flashy whatever. So yeah,
Yes.
it's teaching us that what's more important is the narrative, the people you have in your life, the stories that you can tell. Because
True.
hopefully this doesn't last any longer, God willing. So it's up to us in the next generation to tell the next that hey, we gotta learn from what happened. We
Yeah.
gotta be more what do you call this? Discerning in what we're gonna be buying, what we're gonna be holding as important in our lives.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have like there was this pastor that I spoke to recently. Sabi niya, ilan bang relo kailangan mo para sumaya ka? Ilan bang
So
kotse
good.
ang kailangan mo para masabi mo na you made it, that
Yeah.
you reached the top? How many more houses do you have to build? How many more yeah. So it's true. It made everyone realize that I should in fact be happy with what I have. In fact, I
Yeah.
have in excess. People would
Yes.
realize that, ay, ang dami ko palang damit. Ay, ang dami ko palang, kasi hindi mo na nasusuot eh.
Yeah.
Di ba? Ay, ang dami ko palang relo. Because, like, look at me now. I'm not wearing any watches. So, I have no use for it. In fact, I'm selling them. So, it's a,
Wow.
yeah, I've never been attached to material stuff. I can
Uh,
readily let go of stuff anytime. Anytime, basta. But yun nga
wow.
lang, there's this, subconscious ba? Am I gonna say subconscious or unconscious? Subconscious na lang. There's this
Yeah.
subconscious
Subconsciously.
accumulation, to each and every one of us. It may be a bag, it may be a toy, it may be a chair, it
Yeah.
may be clothes.
The
Yeah,
latest bling.
the latest bling. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah,
happy
I
where
guess. Yeah, I think that's a very important place to be. My pastor, Pastor Giselle, would tell us, would teach us, in terms of anything that relates to the temporal realm, no, uh, to hold things loosely. I think that's very
yeah,
important to hold things loosely because nothing, all of it, will disappear. It's not, it's anything that you can take with you to eternity does not mean anything.
correct.
And
Correct. Soul
so yeah,
preparation.
that's yep,
I would always say that it's soul preparation that we're here. That's why we're here in this earth.
yep. So let me take a kind of a different turn now, right? So
Yeah.
it's very interesting. Speaking to an architect here, but if you go to scripture, you know, you have number one, very start of the book, you have the creator, right? And uh, scripture references that speaks about very important to have foundation that you build, you know, line upon line, precept upon precept, so you don't build, you know, there are steps, there's a progression to things, and you don't build on the sand, you build on the rock, and you have, of course, the master builder. Tell me about your relationship with your master builder, you know, your relationship with God. How does he, number one, when did you get to a point in your life where you said, I can't, because it's so easy to just rely on, you know what, I have all these accomplishments, I don't think God really fits in the picture of all these things, uh, but you decided that you need him in your life. He's not just part of it, but he is essential in your life. When was it, when was a point where you cried out and say, I need Jesus in my life? And what led you to that point?
Um, you're right, Pastor. Sometimes the ego gets in the way. The ego gets in the way. I mean, sometimes when you accomplish something, you accomplish a feat, you think that you did it yourself.
Mm,
So you forget that your talents, your whatever gifts that you have, and whatever it is that you accomplish, it's not really you. It's really not about me. It's about him. So I think that was it was about 2010 where I had uh, huge um, dark days in my business. So that's when I really cried to him. That's when I realized that I couldn't do it on my own. Ano ako eh, siyempre you're driven by ego, you're driven by pride. You don't want to ask help from anyone. I don't even talk to my wife about it, my problems at work. When I get to the house, I wala, it's as if nothing happened. So it was just really me talking to God. And I reached a point. There are a lot of there are a lot of points in my life leading up to today that He has always bailed me out. He has bailed me out. I mean,
wow.
I like I mentioned, I wanted to be introduced as a loyal person, a loyal friend. So I was a very loyal person to my previous business or my previous partnership. But it was reaching a tipping point. It was very difficult. It was difficult. Hard on the finances, hard on yeah. Uh, we were on the red. It was very tough. So clients were unhappy. Clients were yeah, here and there. So I didn't know what to do anymore. Like I said, I got too busy. So then one day I just surrendered everything. I just picture a person raising a white flag.
Wow.
That's what I did. That's what I did. I just knelt down, prayed, and cried. Went on my knees, just told him that it's up to you. Um,
Wonderful.
just whenever I go to a meeting with whenever I go to meetings, I would pray. I would really pray for him to give me the words to say, the strength to do so, and then yeah, he bailed me out. In fact, I was praying so hard for him to get me out of a situation, but he just blocked me out. He
Wow.
just took me out of it. Eh, ngayon ko na lang nare-realize, na sinugot pala niya yung prayer ko by really taking me out of it, by being literally kicked out oh, of my previous business and project. He got me out. So I got kicked out and now syempre it's a very humiliating, heartbreaking experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, with His grace, uh,
Amen.
I got to bounce back. But
Wow.
the thing there is I had to. It was a no, it was a hefty price for me to pay. But now at least I have that peace, inner peace.
Yeah.
And then I pray. You know what I did pala? If I may share, I prayed
Sige.
for all of these people that I offended or I did not
Oh,
have a, nice ending with. I I prayed for healing. I
okay.
prayed for healing. Yung gano'n, parang nakakagaan ng loob, eh. If you pray
Yeah.
for them, parang yun, it's not only apologizing to them in your prayer, but also accepting
Yes.
that you you made a mistake. You're just as good as your people. The the situation, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never I never took any I never took it to heart. I mean, yeah, at first maybe it pinched a nerve. There were sleepless nights. But yeah, I got out of it because of my
Praise the
faith.
Lord.
But it's in recent days, Pastor, that I joined the small group
Mm-hmm.
on a every other day. 3 times a week kami.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 times a week. I'm tearing up, but sorry. When I look back kasi parang those were tough times eh. Tapos ngayon,
Yes, sir.
you have to remember where you are now. Na parang,
Yes,
uy,
sir.
people help me get through this. And God sent these people to help me out. I we call ourselves MFJ, Men for Jesus. We have a small group. These are also from San Agustin, and hopefully they're watching. So you have to be reminded of him kasi every day, eh. Every so often. Parang yung once a week is kulang. Especially
Yes,
nowadays, if
definitely.
you're encountering all of this stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I'm a believer now of the small group kasi
Yeah.
it really strengthens and emphasizes that we are indeed in the same storm. Different boat, same
So
storm.
good.
Sobra.
So
I'm
it's one thing. It's one thing to you said back in 2010. One of your greatest challenges, I guess, in your journey as an architect, as a person. It's one thing for people to, in their greatest need, to cry out for help. But once they're on their feet again and they start to grind again, and it's so, uh, sometimes God is the first one to get set aside until you're needed, right? But it's so refreshing to see that that was a starting point of like a renewed relationship or a surrender. I think I really like that imagery because really it's a surrender. I'm not. I cannot. The Bible even says, not in your own strength, right? It's you don't get to where He is because you worked hard for it. That's not how you do it. It is the recognition of His work on the cross that actually gets you to a point, and that's where your surrender begins, at the foot of the cross, and it's a wonderful thing. But to see that even now, looking back 10 years, right, in your journey, eh, you didn't let go of it. For sure, he never let go of you, but it's just a wonderful, wonderful story. I'm looking forward to see where God is going to take you from here, and I believe you're just starting to spread your wings and tap other influence other areas of society. And I really like what you're doing. You're doing some of your social media uh, um, content out there. You know, I see you once in a while. You're talking at the kitchen or something. That's really amazing. I think you'll be surprised what God can do with these things. Once again, guys, we're talking to architect Kokoy here, and it's been a wonderful time to hear his story. And I'll give you some time if you guys are watching. Maybe you guys have some questions that you may want to ask if that's something that you want to do. But in light of that, okay, so of questions, do you mind if I ask you some rapid fire questions and top of your
Sure.
head just answer? Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe some of these things you've heard before, but I'll ask it again. What's your favorite food?
Rapid fire question. Favorite food? Oh my God, I love them all.
That's the problem. Okay,
That's the
dish na lang. Favorite cuisine or you know, is it
Japanese.
Japanese, Korean?
Japanese.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, good. I'm craving sashimi now. Salmon sashimi sounds good. Anyway, okay. You're an architect. What is a favorite color you'd like to use?
Oh my, I love green.
Oh, green. Okay, different shades of green, no?
Oh yes,
Okay.
different shades. Green and gray. Green and gray.
Oh, green and gray. Wow. Favorite attire. You know what you
Oh no,
like to wear.
architects, designers are famous for this. Black.
Okay. Same thing. I think pastors also or whatever. You know, they. It's just
Nakakapayat tao.
yes. I know you have pets. What's your favorite pet?
Oh my God, my chihuahua.
Oh,
Dog.
okay.
My chihuahua and my
Dog.
pit, my ambuli.
Okay. Do you have a favorite vacation spot? If you can go to a vacation right now, where would you like to go?
Oh, vacation spot. Good question. Oh, yes. Hopefully my clients listening. I did a beach house in Batangas, in Punta Fuego.
Oh,
Yeah.
Punta Fuego. Nice place. Nice
Yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was lucky enough to design a house in Punta Fuego. So I love that
Wow,
place.
wonderful.
I love that place.
By the way, I don't know if this is your friend Amon. He's watching from
Yes.
NYC. There you
Yeah.
go.
He's a COVID
What time is
survivor.
it there? Oh, wow. Congratulations. And
Frontliner yan.
I pray that you're kept safe from this point on. Thank you
Congrats.
for watching us. Okay. There's another question. You like to relax by doing blank.
Oh, listening to music.
Okay. Most daring thing I want to try.
Bungee jumping.
Okay. Wow. You just tell me the experience and I'll cheer you on. I am absolutely terrified of blank.
Failure.
Okay. I cannot live without blank.
Naku, this is easy. My wife.
Wow, points. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. If I can have superpowers, I would choose.
Oh my God, that's tough. That's tough. Sige, ano na lang. Parang si Raven.
For those who don't know, what's the power of Raven?
Ah, the mine.
Oh, okay. All right. I would like to have been born in what era? If you can choose what
Oh my
era,
God.
what would it be?
Mid-century. Mid-century
Wow.
modern era.
I guess it
Before.
would have something to do with architecture.
Ah, yes, definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Most challenging project.
Oh, the one that I didn't finish.
That's challenging.
Hindi ko natapos eh.
What series are you watching now?
Oh my. What series was I watching last night? Ah, the glass blowers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I forget
Um,
that. Blown away, blown away. Yeah.
okay. Uh, I would.
Ang
I
bago
would
eh,
have
no?
liked. I would have liked to. I would have liked to do business with. If you can do business with somebody, who would it be?
Oh wow.
Or you can do a project with.
Ah, do a project with. Kaya lang he's not ano eh. He's not living anymore eh. He's my I look up to him. Lindy Locsin, a local architect.
Oh, local architect.
Yeah.
If you can meet, if you can interview a person in history except Jesus, who would it be?
Wow, what a tough question. Louis Kahn. He's an architect.
Okay.
Louis Kahn. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Right. If you're not an architect, you would be what?
Carpintero.
Still about building. Okay. What advice would you give yourself if you can go back to your 10-year-old self?
Okay, not to take myself too seriously.
Okay. Good advice. Uh, Finish the sentence. I would like to be remembered as.
A friend to all.
Lastly, here, share with us your life verse.
Oh, yes. Okay, wait. Okay, this life verse really saved my life. Okay, my life verse is I keep it in my phone. Actually, during 2010, one of the darker days of my life in my business. More of business kasi yung ano ko eh, my
Uh,
issue. So I take comfort in Philippians 4,
oh, wow.
6 to 7. Ito, I think this is applicable to everyone now. So listen up. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell
Wow.
God your needs and don't forget to thank Him for His answers. If you do this, you will experience God's peace, which is far more wonderful than the human mind can understand. His peace will keep your thoughts and your hearts quiet and at rest as you trust in Christ Jesus. So whenever I encounter difficulties, I look at my phone and read that over and over again. And the funny thing about that passage was uh, I received it in an email.
Oh, okay.
When I was like in the darkest moment in my life, an email, it's like a chain email was sent to me, and that was the passage.
Wow.
So there, when I saw that, oh wow, that saved my life. That saved me. And you gotta really
Thank you.
hold on to a scripture,
That's true.
pastor. Yeah.
That's true.
Maski isa.
That's why we ask people here, what's your life verse? Because that's like the Bible says, the His promises to us are like an anchor to our souls. So thank you. Uh, Architect, I believe that you helped build somebody up this evening with your story and with your testimony and with your journey. It's been such a blessing. Look
Hope
at
so.
this. It's already 9:11, right? We've been talking for 2 hours and it feels like it just went by so quickly.
Yes, I was really
Grabe,
enjoying.
no? It's such a joy. I really like and I enjoy talking to here in Sabado nights different people because I
Yeah,
learn a lot. I also
different walks
get
of life.
encouraged. I'll give you a few a moment to just share an encouraging word. Your final things that you want to say to those people who are listening to us.
Um, Encouraging words. Well, first and foremost, again, thank you, Pastor. Thank you for allowing me to be part of Sabado nights. And then for those watching, thanks as well. Uh, there's this ano eh. I love watching movies. I want to end with this sentence or phrase that Morgan Freeman and what's his name from Shawshank Redemption. They
Er,
said Tim Robbins.
Tim
So
Robbins, yes.
what they said was get busy living or get busy dying. So let's get busy living. Of course,
It's good.
with God, no, with
Amen.
God, with His help. A mere perfect example I got out of it, or at least I have peace. Yeah.
Wow. Once again, thank you,
No, thank
Architect
you.
Kokoy. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining us. Watch out for our next Sabado nights. We'll keep you posted. We've been having wonderful conversations here. Uh, Architect, you're blessed. You're such a blessing to many. You're such a blessing to us, New Life, and we look forward to having more conversations with you, whether online or offline. For
Yes,
the
definitely.
rest, have a wonderful evening. Rest well tonight. Remember, tomorrow, let's see each other in service. New Life the 4th at 11, at 5, and at 9. See you there. God bless you. Bye.